Hello friends. Hello neighbors. My name is Richard. I'm 29. My history and government teachers growing up taught me how our government operates, how voices are heard, and how pressure is applied to bring about change. I'm very passionate about it. I'm giving you my voice on what I see and how I feel we can take steps to ensure through our legislative branches, the power of our judicial branches may bring about true justice for crimes committed by the law enforcement departments of the executive branches. As it stands now, our judicial branch can only pass judgment on existing laws. Thus, we must actively create new laws criminalizing police brutality. It is my hope all opinions on this matter be voiced to and heard by the legislators of this country. In the matter of police reform and accountability for crimes that dishonor the badge, the people of the United States have observed over our history violations of the authority and accountability that disgrace the oath and honor of the badge law enforcement officers swear to uphold. In the recent face of this, it is obvious that the executive branches of our compound federal government have failed to implement punishment and regulations strict enough, using its own authority to oversee and reform police accountability. It is now we must pressure our legislative branches and judicial branches to check the executive, as is our constitutional right. The following should be used as a guideline to create legislation to hold strict judicial and public oversight of police actions that forsake their oath, the honor and integrity of the badge, as well as undermining the public trust in policing agencies. It is my opinion that these laws be called Forsaken Oath laws. However, ultimately that is unimportant and up for debate. Forsaken oath in the first degree, a violent violation of the oath of law enforcement, willful or negligent, that results in the unjust loss of life, including but not limited to execution of an unarmed, non-resisting suspect not yet detained, hate crimes on or off duty, the unlawful execution of no-knock raids, and any violations of the Geneva Convention's standards of policing. Taking the life of a detained person who has been subdued and secured, violating the public and court's constitutional right to pass judgment on the accused. It is my opinion that this charge should hold a maximum sentence of the death penalty, and that this guilty will never again be allowed to carry any badge granting authority of law enforcement issued by a government or civilian agency. In further matters, forsaken oath in the second degree, a violent violation of the oath of law enforcement, willful or negligent, that results in the unjust suppression of civil liberties, but not life, including but not limited to on or off-duty hate crimes, the unlawful execution of no-knock raids, violations of the UN Geneva Convention standards of policing, inciting a riot, any other act of violence in direct violation of constitutional rights. Examples include forceful dispersion of a peaceful protest, violence in restricting the progress of a peaceful march, assaulting a member of the press. It is my opinion that this charge should carry a maximum sentence of life in prison, and that any guilty party never be allowed to hold a badge granting the authority of law enforcement issued by a government or civilian agency. In further matters, forsaken oath in the third degree should include non-violent violations of the oath of law enforcement, willful or negligent, resulting in the suppression of civil liberties or obstructing the public's justice. This should include, but not be limited to, nonviolent violations of any constitutional right. The conspiracy to commit forsaken oath in the first or second degree, as well as the idle observation of forsaken oath in the first, second, or third degree. The turning off of body cameras, failure to report any violations. It is my opinion that this should carry a minimum maximum sentence of 20 years. And that the guilty will never again be allowed to carry any badge granting authority of law enforcement issued by a government or civilian agency. Additionally, it is a popular opinion that the police need to be demilitarized. The use of weapons of war should be prohibited on the public en masse. Flashbangs, tear gas, automatic assault weapons, and militarized armored vehicles be prohibited in agencies of civil law enforcement. These regulations can hopefully begin to heal the wounds inflicted over a long history of injustice. After this, in addition, we need to discuss and implement legislation criminalizing prejudicial sentencing in our judicial system and the injustice of prison for profit. In conclusion, these are my words. I may have used collective pronouns. I apologize if you did not feel the same way. However, all of our voices need to be included in this reformation. And thank you for your time. You may share this if you'd like it.